The folks over at GearBest reached out and asked if I would like to review one of their cordless screwdrivers, and I said sure. So, without further ado, here it is. Not a bad little unit after all. The folks at GearBest asked me if I'd like to review some of their products. So I asked them what they had in mind, and they said, we'd like you to look at and test out some of our tools. So I looked through the list and came up with a cordless screwdriver. Since that's something that I don't have, I thought this might be kind of cool. And this is what they sent me. Cordless screwdriver. Now the first thing I noticed right off the bat is, Houston, we have a bit of a problem. It seems that they sent me the European version, which comes with a 220 to 240 volt AC adapter, but it's a standard 6 volt 300 milliamp positive tip output, so that's easy enough to rectify. We'll throw this in the garbage and I'll get a new adapter. But I do have a 240 volt step up transformer, so I was able to charge this unit up so that we can complete the demo. So here's the kit. So if you order one of these things, be sure you get the one with the right plug, or you'll be buying a 6 volt adapter with a standard 2.5 millimeter barrel center, but standard coaxial type barrel connector, standard tip positive. Anyway, that's what you'll be buying if you get the wrong one with the wrong plug. You'll have to buy a new adapter, which I'm going to have to do. Anyway, no problem, big deal. Let's check this out and see what this thing comes with, and then we're going to try it out. So here are the Phillips and Crosspoint bits that the screwdriver comes with. As you can see, it's got all your standard sizes, number 1, number 2, and it's got, if you look on here, it tells you what size this is. So the screwdriver comes with a variety of bits in Phillips and Crosspoint. This one here is a Phillips number 0. As you notice, it's got a PH0 on it. The next bit I picked up here, this is the Phillips number 3. These are for Phillips screws, which are not to be confused with the Japanese Crosspoint. That's a Phillips number 1. This one here, VPZ. So this is a different type of a bit. It has a different shape bit to it for the Japanese screws. Comes with different sizes for both Crosspoint and the Phillips type screws. And one thing I did notice it was missing was it comes with these longer bits as well. It only came with a Phillips number 1 and a Phillips number 3. Missing was the Phillips number 2, which would have been nice to have had. But I mean, now you can get them. They're just standard bits, right? And it didn't come with any Robertson bits, which also I found a bit annoying. But then Robertson bits really, they're only used in the Canadian market. Robertson screws was a Canadian invention, and it's the only place it's ever used is in Canada. So I wouldn't expect to have Robertson or square head type bits in this kit. To use the full-size bits, you can just insert the bit directly into the end of the screwdriver, pull back on the locking collar, and the bit is locked in place. To use the smaller bits, you need to use the magnetic adapter. So you put your magnetic adapter in, and then the smaller bits, you can just plug them into the end, and they're held in place by a magnet. It's got a light to light the way when you're driving and unscrewing and driving, and it's got reverse and forward. So right hand drive, which will drive screws in, and left to unscrew them. It's also got torque settings here, so you can even use this to drill, but it'll have settings from 1 to 6. So if you're driving in screws, you can set it so that it will stop when it gets to the torque that you've selected, right up to the higher torque, and then drill. It won't stop at all. Changing the bits is as easy as just popping one bit out and popping in another. Now the unit itself comes with a couple drills too, so if you need to drill like pilot holes, it comes with 2 different sizes of drill. Comes with a 2 millimeter and a 3 millimeter. Some of the other accessories that it comes with, not only do you have screwdriver bits in Phillips, but of course it's got all your other standard ones. It's got your standard blade, flat slot screw, or whatever you want to call it. So it's got an assortment of slotted screws as well. It also comes with a setting of, or series of torques. Now these are not the security bits with the hole in them, but it's got your standard torques on it in various sizes. and hex keys. More Torx. In total, 28 different bits, plus 4 longer bits, 2 Phillips and 2 slot type, and a 2mm and 3mm drill. And it comes with 8 sockets ranging in size 5.5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 millimeters. These ones are attached using an adapter. And with the adapter, you can use any 1/4" type socket on here. The adapter obviously go into the end of the drill. Battery check tells you your battery condition, so you can operate it as a drill or as what they call the pistol grip, or press the button in and rotate it, and now it operates as a screwdriver. So for hard to reach places, some people actually prefer to use it like this, so it's more like a cordless screwdriver. Others will prefer to use it where it operates more like a drill. Either way. It operates with a 4.8 volt lithium battery, and it also comes with one of these flex extensions, so that if you have to drill something or screw something into a hard to reach place, you can put your drill bit in or your screwdriver bit into the end, and now, so for putting together cabinets and stuff in tight spaces where you just can't get in there with the drill, you can use the flexible extension. Now keep in mind, even though this does look like it's metal, it is in fact just plastic, and it's painted to look like it's metal, but this is all plastic. It's I would say this is a light duty device for home use that's going to get intermittent use. Something to have in the toolbox to make screwing and unscrewing screws a little bit easier. I'm going to put this thing through its paces. I'm going to drive some screws. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to sacrifice my wall. I'm going to try driving some long screws. So if I want to drive a Robertson screw, I guess I'm going to have to use one that I already have from my old screwdriver. But this will fit, so I can drive some Robertson screws with this. I'm going to drive some long screws into the 2x6 here in my workshop and see how well this thing can drive a screw down. Okay, on the back wall here, there is a stud around here somewhere. It looks to be, it's probably, I'm going to say it's going to be right about there. That looks to be in line with where the stud should be. Let's see how well this drives the screw in. Well, it did stall out before the screw went all the way in, but it did drive it a good portion of the way in. And then it died. But it did drive it most of the way, and we'll try it again here. Go back in. Nope. But it did drive the screw in, a good inch. Let's test it in the real world to take apart a VCR and see how effortless this will be. As I say, effortless. So for taking apart electronics and putting them back together, this little screwdriver is just what I needed. And of course we'll make sure that the torque is turned all the way down so that we don't strip screws. See what I mean? It's got a torque limiting, so you're not going to strip any screws with this. Same with the screws on the bottom here. Oh, they're not magnetic. I'll have to fix that. Get my little magnetizer here. We'll magnetize this bit. I figured that the magnet in here that holds this thing together would provide enough of a magnetic charge to hold the screws, but evidently it didn't. There you go. Link to this little screwdriver is on the page. And I say I got this one from GearBest. They sent me this one to evaluate, and I think with the exception of driving screws into 2x6 studs, this is probably going to be all you're going to need for taking apart and putting back together electronics and minor jobs that don't require an excessive amount of torque. I mean, I'm not surprised that it failed driving that screw in. It actually did. It did have enough torque though that I did strip the head of the screw, but driving into a 2x6, driving a 1.5 or 2 inch screw into a 2x6 does take a fair bit of torque, and that's something that's more suited to a full cordless drill or even powered drill. This is not a drill, this is a screwdriver, and for those applications this is going to do the job just fine. Thanks for watching.